Hello, everybody. Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I'm Andy Signor, and this is a weird story I want to report on because I kind of understand it, but I think this is clearly a dangerous step for the future. But let's get to it. Guys, apparently robots will be deciding what movies are greenlit in the future. That's right. It's happening right now as we speak. The world of artificial intelligence is getting crazier and crazier for good and crazy ways. Let's see which one this could be. Apparently, Warner Brothers just signed a huge deal for a artificial intelligence-driven film management system. So what does this mean? So apparently they've made a pact with this company called Synalytic to use product management system that launched. So for those that don't understand how artificial intelligence works, like artificial intelligence is, think of it as a supercomputer. It's 10 million supercomputers. It can process the data way faster than you or I can. So it can gather all of that data at such a fast rate that it can suddenly make decisions and point you in proper directions. It was interesting. I learned a lot about this because I worked for a short period there. I did some sales for a AI stock market trading software. That was really cool. It's called Vantage Point. You can check it out. But I did some sales for them for a while, and I learned a lot about artificial intelligence. And I went and did my own research. And in their sort of software, it used AI to sort of help predict proper stock trading, which was a really fascinating thing. I learned about stocks. I learned about artificial intelligence, and it was really cool software. But I didn't think it would start parlaying into Hollywood, which it now has. And it makes sense in a weird way, but it also is just a very, something we need to be mindful of. It's happening more and more. Artificial intelligence is, think of it as like, when Netflix is recommending a video to you, or think of it even more, a better example, Amazon, right? When Amazon is saying, well, you bought this, so you should know about this. Think about how many data points Amazon has of figuring out not only what you're going to buy, but what to suggest that you're going to buy. All of that stuff from Google, it's in Amazon, Facebook. All of that behind the scenes stuff is controlled by artificial intelligence. It's a million supercomputers working at a speed that's sort of even impossible to process in our own minds to print out the data of what they expect you're going to do next. And it's going to start getting crazier in the future. Always the example I remember that I know we're not getting far from is that scene in Minority Report where Tom Cruise is like walking by the mall and it scans their eyes and it's like, hey, Tom Cruise, you might want to get this. We're there already in a degree, but it's going to start happening with body stuff and whatever. But this was just fascinating because at first I sort of was like, but the more I thought about it, if you don't understand it, you just don't understand it, and you should, because this is where the future is going. So I want to just go through this article and we can sort of learn. Resistance is futile. Warner Brothers has become the latest studio to publicly embrace artificial intelligence. The movie division headed by Chairman Toby Emmerich has signed a deal with Synalytic to use the latest AI-driven project management system that was launched last year. Under the new deal, Warner's will leverage the system's comprehensive data and predictive analytics to guide decision-making at the Greenlight stage. The integrated online platform can assess the value of a star in any territory and how much a film is expected to make in theaters and any other ancillary streams. Think about that. It knows what every movie made. It knows what they paid every actor to be in those movies. They know what they charged those actors, what they were paid to be in, how much they made in their investment. All of that data of just the numbers alone makes sense. The computer can be like, well, we spent $100 million on Thor, and Chris Hemsworth cost this, with return of this, and the revenue and marketing PR. It's like just a super calculator that's going to be able to tell them, well, based on the numbers, this should work. It's kind of Moneyball, right, for movies, because you're going off the stats of like, all right, well, who's actually getting most people in the theaters? Because that's really what matters right now. It's like, yeah, sure, we can say that person seems valuable, but are they selling tickets? Because at the end of the day, that's what Hollywood really needs them to do. This isn't good for creativity by any means, but for a studio like Warner Brothers that needs to make money and so much time spent on like doing the math and figuring out, well, what's the risk reward on this? To have a software that can do this for you, it does make sense. And it allows them to sort of hopefully read other scripts and do other things that can allow them to make other creative choices, but then do a lot of this analytic work to justify, well, is this a good investment? Founded 4 years ago by Tobias Koiser, Synalytic has been building and beta testing the platform for 3 years. In 2018, the company raised $2.25 million from TB Global and signed deals with Ingenious Media behind Wind River, Productive MIDI, The Little Hours, and STX, which endured a number of flops in 2019, including Playmobil and Ugly Dolls. I liked Ugly Dolls. It was cute. My kids liked it. They became clients in September. While the platform won't necessarily predict what will be the next billion-dollar surprise, like Warner Brothers hit Joker, it will. I mean, that's impossible to predict. It will reduce the amount of time executives spend on low-value, repetitive tasks and instead give them better dollar figure parameters for packaging, marketing, and distribution decisions, including release dates. The platform is particularly, I mean, think about that, because it knows all the movies that are coming out, what they've made, how they've made in previous dates. This thing's going to be able to predict and say, well, you know, you got to go spring of April because it's an open slot, or that's what every movie makes that day. All of those numbers being crunched at such a fast rate with such a superpower computer, it makes sense. Platform is particularly helpful in the festival setting. While studios get caught up in bidding wars and plunk down massive sums after only hours of assessment, as happened last year with New Line's $15 million for Blinded by the Light out of last year's Sundance Festival, which didn't do as that well. Cinematic's AI insight might also have altered decision-making on some of Warner Brothers' misfires from 2019, such as The Kitchen, Shaft, Godzilla King of Monsters. Seems odd you'd need a computer to figure out some of those flops, but whatever. The system can calculate in seconds what used to take days to assess by human when it comes to general film package evaluation or a star's worth. That's the scary part, right? Because while I understand this is cool and this is good, this is going to wipe out a lot of jobs. It's going to cause way more people to be jobs. So it's going to be important to know how you know how to use the software, and then also just know where you have, you know, that it factor of your own of just knowing, no, this movie has something like a Joker, because AI wouldn't have been able to predict Joker. That was a gut, and humans will always you always need the combination of gut and the AI to really work miracles. And so it's gonna separate a lot of jobs, though, I think, in the future. Ads, Tonius Killis, Senior VP Distribution. We make tough decisions every day that affect what and how we produce and deliver films to theaters around the world, and the more precise our data is, the better we will be able to engage our audiences. Still, Hollywood fancies itself as a town that operates on gut instinct rather than algorithms, for better or worse, and unlike Silicon Valley, the industry has been slow to use AI for more menial tasks like script breakdowns, fearful that it will take away jobs and make humans obsolete. That's what I said. He counters the narrative. Artificial intelligence sounds scary, but right now an AI cannot make any creative decisions. What it's good at is crunching numbers and breaking down huge data sets and showing patterns that would not be visible to humans. But for creative decisions making, you still need experience and gut instinct. Look, that's where I think too. This is important, but it's still scary. It's still massively scary because, you know, at some point, who's to say the computers can't start getting creative and writing, you know, Rob Schneider is a carrot. You know, it's going to happen at some point. I feel like, you know, a lot of films right now and students are made by committee of like, all right, well, what's in right now? All right, well, people like this, so let's do that. You know, that's sort of what's happening anyway. They're just not using the computers. But if they use the computers and still employ the people to then take that data and use with it as you will, you're going to learn a lot more, and it'll make you smarter, because it's like, look, if we could like use the limitless pill from Bradley Cooper's movie and use all of our brain, we would know a lot of this. We would know a lot of this number crunching that takes days to do because we'd figure it out. So I don't think using a superpowered calculator is dangerous. I think it is helpful as long as the studios keep the humans there to learn how to read the calculations that the computer prints out. That's where I think we need to be careful as a society. We got to all be mindful of. It's like right now it's happening at go to Walmart, go to Target, go to Walmart. You'll see they now have those scan your own groceries things, right? And I made a point to talk to some of those. I usually avoid it. Unless I have like one item and the lines are long and I can just do it quickly, I usually avoid and try and work with the human. And I always have conversations with the people at the checkout, like, aren't you scared? Are you losing? And they're like, yeah, we're losing hours. This is bad. And, you know, Amazon, you know, or Target, Walmart, they're always like, well, no, we still keep our employees. But I don't know. I'm seeing those self-scans come more and more because those self-scans don't require insurance. A lot of benefits, right? So there are scary things that we're going into in the world of computers and sort of all this automated stuff and do-it-yourself that is scary. It's convenient, seemingly, but it's going to ultimately cost somewhere down the line. But in this instance, I do see a benefit for a machine that can help crunch numbers to figure out, well, when's the best time to release this? What's the cost of this film? What's our return of investment? That's where a robot could help in the greenlighting process from a money-making standpoint. But from a creative standpoint, from a risk standpoint, no, not that. That's where we got to separate this. So, look, I think that this first time I read this, I was like, ooh, this is kind of crazy. But I think it's smart, and I think we're going to see a lot more of it, and we should be mindful and pay attention to it because AI is absolutely the future. It's been the future. It's been already going for a while, but people don't even realize how much it's affecting our day-to-day lives. And a lot of smart companies are getting in on this and figuring out how to work their own algorithms out to make sure that their predictive AI software is actually working wonders. And so I think it's smart and ballsy of Warner Brothers to admit it, to go in head first and try and see if they can get some wins from it. But as even the article and the creator of the software says, you got to remember, it's not going to take over creative decision making. That experience and gut instinct are key, and that's the key. That's the value. These people in Hollywood need to learn how to showcase better and not just say, "Well, look, this did that," because the computers are going to do it way better, and I'm okay with that. What do you guys think? Does this freak you out? Are you afraid of AI? Are you paying attention? Give us some cool examples of artificial intelligence in our day-to-day lives down in the comments below if you're a smart person. I'd love to hear it. Or hit me up on social media if you got any other stories like this you want me to cover. I'd love to do it. Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, or join. You can become a member of the channel and help support Popcorn Planet. We'll be back live next week, Tuesdays and Thursdays. We've got some awesome new live shows, more Nerd Wars and stuff, so stay tuned. And thanks so much for watching, everybody. Have an awesome day. Bye, everybody.